Hello, this is Russell Hawley coming to you from the Tate Geological Museum at Casper College in Wyoming, and today we'll be doing yet another dinosaur model review. And I'd first of all like to address the woolly mammoth. Now, with a lot of prehistoric animals, you can get away with a lot of speculation because the soft parts are completely unknown. So the texture, the color, things like that, soft features like ears and lips and eyeballs, all of that purely speculative, and nobody can really tell you you're wrong. An exception to this is the woolly mammoth. Carcasses have been found in Siberia and Alaska with all of the soft parts preserved, the skin, the ears, even the stomach contents. And so if you do a bit of research, you can depict a woolly mammoth that looks just about exactly as the animal would have appeared in life. This one, by Bullyland, is not bad at all. They show that the woolly mammoth was indeed covered with long, dark, shaggy hair, and they also depict the hump on the shoulder and over the head. The ears are a little bit too large, but overall, this is a pretty good model. The pose is kind of dramatic rather than realistic, but this is still perfectly acceptable. However, the prize for the best woolly mammoth model that I've seen anyway goes to, once again, Invicta Plastics for their British Museum of Natural History series. And here, they've accurately depicted the size of the ear. The woolly mammoth has a surprisingly tiny ear, and of course that makes sense because it wouldn't want to get frostbitten as it would as a larger ear in an Arctic environment. The pose with the feet positioned very close to the midline of the animal and the way that the wrist flicks back as the forelimb is being moved forward, very realistic, very much consistent with what we see in modern elephants. And finally, a woolly mammoth's hairs could be up to 1 meter long. So the ones that were on its belly and the lower parts of its sides would dangle down and almost touch the ground, almost forming a skirt around the animal's body. And I've not seen any other woolly mammoth model that captures that sort of skirt look better than this one right here. Another animal that we see represented in models is Cetacosaurus, the parrot lizard from the early Cretaceous of China and Mongolia. So here is a model done by Safari Ltd. Based on the knowledge of the time, and it's very presentable. This is completely consistent with what we knew about Cetacosaurus back then. The feet with the 3 large toes and the smaller inner toe, the parrot-like beak, the little jugal horns coming out of its cheeks. But science marches on, and recently Cetacosaurus specimens have been found with soft tissue preservation around the hard bones. And these show a series of long filaments or very, very thin spines running up along the midline of the animal's tail, and also clusters of pigment dotted here and there in the shoulder region, showing that the hide of this creature may have been spotted. Well, in the most recent Cetacosaurus produced by Safari, they have incorporated that data into this model right here. So this ought to be really close to the appearance of the live Cetacosaurus. We've still got the distinctive parrot-like head, but we've got the spots and then also the spines running down the tail. Some scientists think that it was webbed together to form a fin. Others think that they were separate spines, kind of like the dorsal frill of an iguana. We don't know for sure, and happily, you can interpret the model either way. Now, next we'll be looking at Oviraptor, and some of the most vivid images of Oviraptor were painted by a Spanish dinosaur artist by the name of Louis Rey. And here are a couple of examples of his Oviraptors with their brilliant electric blue and scarlet crests and the pink feathers on the arms. Somebody once remarked that these look like they're decked out for Mardi Gras. A reporter once asked Louis Rey, "Why are your dinosaurs so colorful?" And Rey said, "It's because I'm Spanish. Everything we do is colorful." Well, these were obviously an inspiration for Safari Ltd because they made an Oviraptor model that is very, very closely based on Louis Ray's paintings. Not only the color, but also right down to the nest of Oviraptor eggs being guarded by the mother here, and even a little baby hatching out. They made this model, and it was a really good seller, and they gave a free copy to Louis Ray and told him, thank you very much. We're so inspired by your artwork, and we think this model turned out really well. And he said thank you. He was thinking, I didn't actually give you guys permission to use that image, but he didn't raise a stink about it because he's a great guy, and he just let it slide. And then the final model I want to show you is from 4D Master, and this is an anatomical model of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, people have done this sort of thing before, showing the supposed internal organs of the dinosaur, but these are the first people who have done a really, really good job of it. One thing to look for if you're assessing the accuracy of Tyrannosaurus internal anatomy is, did they remember the air sacs? A dinosaur, and especially these theropod dinosaurs, the two-legged meat-eaters, had a series of air sacs coming off the lungs, just the kind that we find in a modern-day bird. So if you look here, you can see the cervical air sac coming off the lung and extending up into its neck, and then you can see some more air sacs coming off the rear portion of the lung from behind. And the other great thing about this is how detailed it is. I mean, it really comes to bits. You can take the bones out of the leg, you can take the leg off, you can take the pelvis off, the rib cage can be removed and you can expose the lungs. If you take the lung out, the heart's under there. So any child that's interested in dinosaurs, or anatomy for that matter, can not only be very entertained with this model, but learn a lot from it in the process. And that was today's dinosaur model review. Thank you very much for listening.